It is more likely when a woman goes to her friends and family to tell them that this relationship fell apart. They're gonna say, hey, you're better than that. He doesn't deserve you. Those type of things to build her up, make her feel good, not really pointing out where she may have gotten things wrong. There is literally advice that tells people ignore someone if you want them more or want them to want you more, okay? Like literally, when you understand what people are being fed, then you start to realize it's not as simple as if they want to, they would. No, talk to them first. Because if I'm being told as a woman, I'm great, nothing's wrong with me, these men are horrible, right? And there's nothing for me to do different. So then anything that goes wrong will always be viewed through the lens of men are just horrible people.
I feel like right now in dating, men have a bad reputation.
Okay.
Men get a lot of blame.
Yeah.
Is it fair?
It is unfair, completely unfair. One of the big problems that exists is that a lot of women are not being told accurate stories of other women's dating experiences. Now, that isn't to say there aren't genuinely bad men out there, bad experiences and all that. But what they fail to understand is that whether it be their friends, their family, whoever, when she goes on that date or she's in that relationship and things go wrong, she may leave out parts of what she did to contribute to the problem. And so you're hearing this very one-sided view of the situation, which is gonna almost always paint the man in a negative light. And so the woman starts to develop this very negative perception of men based off all these stories she's being fed. Then you add the internet, right? And the internet is built off of sensationalism and people coming up with all kinds of craziness to make the opposite gender look bad. So whether it's men talking about women or women talking about, or the same gender talking down on their gender, whatever it is, they're trying to hype up negative stories. So even though these negative stories exist, we don't always realize they're not so much the majority. They could be the minority, they're just being pushed a lot more. And so, yeah, it does create this very unfair view of men. And I think there's again, a little bit on both sides, to be honest with you.
Talk to me about how do those negative stories actually affect us? Because I think we don't think about that sometimes in terms of if every time you're talking to someone, it's like, oh yeah, this just happened. Oh yeah, same thing happened to my friend. Oh yeah, same thing happened to that friend. And like you said, we don't have the full data. It's not always happened to us.
Yeah.
And then it spreads. But what does that psychologically and even emotionally do to our own mind and brain and heart?
Well, I think it's just human nature to where we take our negative experiences and we project it onto that demographic of whoever it's attached to. So it's like if someone gets robbed by a certain demographic of people, they may start to develop a fear towards those people. Even though it was one isolated incident, they now become cautious to them. So in dating, when you start to experience or hear all these negative things towards men, let's say, well, you're naturally going to become more defensive, more negative. And then what you don't realize is you create these self-fulfilling prophecies because you go into the dating experience bracing for negativity or projecting it, not realizing you're creating it, okay? And so what also makes it worse, and it hit me when you were asking the question, is that, and again, I don't want women to feel like I'm just saying like women don't take any responsibility or anything like that, because there's plenty of women who do. However, it is more likely when a woman goes to her friends and family to tell them that this relationship fell apart. They're gonna say, hey, you're better than that. He doesn't deserve you. Those type of things to build her up, make her feel good, not really pointing out where she may have gotten things wrong. The man goes to his friends and other people about the relationship that fell apart. Man, you were stupid anyway. You should have done this. Like, they're gonna come down on him regardless. And whether he likes it or not, he's gonna have to accept some level of personal accountability. Well, that also now shapes how they approach the next dating situation. Now, unfortunately, I do think that there are some men who, when they run to the internet and they hear women bad, women bad, women bad, they become blind to their own flaws. But I think you can make the argument that women have an audience of uplifters more than men do. And that will now skew how people view the opposite sex. And now those negative stories are only going to have even more of an impact. Because if I'm being told as a woman, I'm great, nothing's wrong with me, these men are horrible, right? And there's nothing for me to do different. So then anything that goes wrong will always be viewed through the lens of men are just horrible people. Like you're never gonna think, well, wait a minute, maybe there was something missing from this story, or maybe she could have handled things different. No, you're gonna jump right to they're bad because that's what you're being told over and over again. And then it's being solidified by some of your own personal experiences, but you may not realize what's contributing to those experiences even coming about.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to look at it, because there was a Facebook group, and I forget what it's called now, but it's basically for, I think it's called Are We Dating the Same Man? And it's been built because there are so many women who are experiencing men dating them at the same time, even though he's saying he's exclusive with one.